In this tutorial, I'll demonstrate how to use SynthEyes Batch Processing System, which is designed to save you time by processing a whole bunch of shots all in a row while you can go off and do something else. So I'll start just by opening up a shot. And this is just a standard tutorial shot. We'll use the default settings. Now instead of starting up the tracker or saving it away, we'll just hit the submit for batch. And now it's been queued up, and if the batch processor was already running, the shot would start being tracked immediately. Instead though, I'm going to go and open up another shot. Again, the default settings on the opening, but this shot has a zoom in it, so I just will check the box here. So you do whatever adjustments to the settings you need to do before you submit the shots for batch processing. And one other thing I need to adjust is on the preferences panel, you'll see that there's a default export type setting. And after the batcher completes each shot, it uses this default export to write out, an export of that particular shot. And you need to have not only which one you want set up, but also you need to have previously used that exporter and adjusted its user interface to get the right settings. So for Lightwave, maybe I set it to export in meters or yards or inches or something, and I've done that ahead of time. And one other trick to this is just that if you do need to change those the default exporter there, you need to shut down SynthEyes before you start up the batcher, because when you shut it down, then it writes out that preferences data, and the batcher is going to read that data when you first start it up. So you just need to close it down if you change it so that the right data gets seen. So now we're ready to start up the batch processing itself, and I just did that. And you'll notice down here there's a splash screen, because this batch processor is really, another process that's running SynthEyes. And I could go and close down the initial SynthEyes, or I could go and use it to keep on tracking some other shots, maybe that I'm going to do supervised tracking on, while this, batch processor is doing its thing. I could just switch back to the original one and point out one other thing. There's a batch queue folder here that has each of the shots that are going to be processed in it. So before they were both here, it's already completed one of them, and now it just completed the other. So let's switch back to the batcher here. You'll see it's now finished up, and we can go back and look at all the logs, and if I wanted, I could copy them out onto the clipboard and print them out or whatever. So I'm going to hit stop, and that just tells it to stop scanning for new files, and I can close it up. Alternatively, I could have just kept that batcher going, shoved it down in the corner of the screen, and let it sit and wait for anything else I wanted to submit at a later time. But now that I've completed the background auto tracking of those shots, I can go pop in and look at the output queue, and now there are all the tracked shots there, and they need to have their coordinate system set up still, and maybe I need to take a look at some of the tracking, make sure there aren't any moving objects or trees waving around or whatever that need to be cleaned up manually. But the shot's basically ready to go. We've done the time-consuming part of the tracking process already. Now if I need to make any adjustments, I could just go and switch over into refine mode on the solver and do whatever relatively quickly. So both of the shots are there ready to go. And similarly, if I look in that export folder, here are the exported versions of the shots ready to go also. So maybe if I was tracking a tripod mode shot where I didn't need to set up any initial coordinate system at all, I might be able to go and use those directly. So that's the basic idea behind the batch processor. Hope it saves you all a lot of time. Thanks.